Sarah Malley. Welcome back, guys. We are here with Game 2 of Viz Major versus Fellowship of the Nerds. After high-action Game 1, I was so excited, I had to use the bathroom.
High octane for sure. I mean, there was a lot of kills. It was 19-15 at the end of the one, so kind of a bloodbath. A slow early start. We saw the bot lanes kind of just, kind of come to a gentleman's agreement and just farm up there. And Baby Trog, farm he did. I mean, he got a lot of farm.
Farm he did. Well, he is a Saskatchewan boy, so I mean, he's got to be used to that by now.
Yeah, but hitting that 300 CS mark by the 30 minutes, I mean, doing a great job keeping up at least with expectations that might be out there. But gonna see the cause expand coming out again, and Echo being taken away. No one wants to deal with the Echo in the top lane, and I feel like some of these top laners would be very, very proficient on that champion. So
yeah, and I mean, he's just a very strong pick overall, and actually that's what we've been waiting to see those guys, or someone play him for quite a while now. I feel like he is going to be... I'm more curious why they banned it away, because I feel like it's more of a Panda champion than it is a Harablo champion.
But I mean, not wanting to give that away first round, though. I mean,
that's true.
Yeah.
And we do see the Nidalee ban, though, going out, which is rather surprising. They're trying to adapt from last game. Just don't want to deal with that.
I mean, like, as far as picking ban goes, I mean, it was a red side ban as well last time. So, I mean, Viz Major was more than happy to leave it up last game in the hopes that Panda could get it. But I feel like that's going to be a very common thing, seeing it as a red side ban, just so it's not given away in the first round. But Gangplank and Nidalee, take it away. Nidalee not want to deal with that again. 4. Showing very, very strong in the early game. A lot of counter jungling there. So we're going to have to see what he decides to take this game. And the Graves and the Bard being taken away. Charles Good, still not getting his champion.
Nah, he's too proficient on it, man. It's just it's his jam.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to respect a player, and I feel like that's where they feel their strong point is. And I mean, if you look, the bot lane from Fellowship of the Nerds has definitely shown they're probably one of the strongest parts of that team. Giving them the most comfortable champions, definitely not something you want to do. It's a troll. I won't believe it till it's locked in. It would
Lock it in.
It would be really cool to see 4-2 bring this out, or 4.
Lock it in.
I doubt they will. The Fiddlesticks Hubber comes through. Aurelion Sol. I do want to see one team bring out Aurelion Sol, though. It would be interesting.
I would like to see it as well. I mean, you can take it a lot of places right now. And yeah, so that's more or less what we were thinking.
The old Jhin Braum lane. This is quite good. I really like the Jhin pick, but I also like the Braum pick, because giving the Braum away, Braum Lucian is such an oppressive lane, and it's very bad against Jhin. You get hit by the Winter's Bite, and you start stacking those concussive blows, you're kind of screwed. You have no way of walking around.
No, exactly. And I mean, Jhin, his biggest struggle in game is the fact that, one, you have to reload, and the other one is that he's super, super immobile. Sure, you do get a lot of movement speed if you're able to get that 4th crit, or if you're able to follow up with something else. But I mean, still, like, just the fact that you don't have any mobility within your kit at all is very, very oppressing, especially into something like a lane bully as big as Lucian. So exactly, taking that Braum away is going to give you a little bit of freedom there, but the Morgana pick into Jhin is going to be huge in itself too. I mean, having Spell Shield for the Winter's Bite is going to allow Harablo to be able to go in, trade a lot, and then, get right back out without having to really be worrying about any kind of CC that can follow up with that. But, I mean, also Morgana, if she catches a stray binding onto Jhin, I mean, that's going to be absolutely huge. Taking him out of the picture is going to be detrimental to that laning phase there. And I mean, Jhin, if you do get far behind, I mean, he's not going to have a fun game, because, I mean, Jhin is excelling when you get ahead. I mean, because he does so much late game damage. If you can get that spike earlier and earlier on, it's going to be great. So we are going to see the Morgana and the Elise picked up here. Bosgood wanting to take that one into the jungle.
And I was going to say, I really like the Elise pick, because I think they were going to try and force Bosgood onto that Gragas again, but they ban away the Kha'Zix, the Nidalee, and usually will pick up an Elise. So taking that away from him, we will push him onto that Kindred, so we will get to see him on that Kindred for once. Also very strong in the jungle, but Panda going to pick up that Maokai once again. Proved quite good in the top lane, so we're going to see, we're going to see the Trundle matchup again, but it looks like the Hover of the Malphite. We have seen Harablo play that a few times this season.
And I mean, being able to dive that back line and, pick out that Jhin would be crazy good. And then if you follow it up with something like Zed here, able to really go in and assassinate that carry as well, because again, they're going with a lot of frontline with the Maokai, with the Braum. I mean, still keeping up with the damage department here with Pulsus, or not Pulsus, for playing the Kindred in the jungle. But they did just recently change Kindred's ult so she can no longer apply it onto allies. It can only be applied onto herself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're not going to be able to drop that onto Pulsus to try and save him. So, Kindred's only going to be able to really use that on herself. And going to be taking the Lux and the Malphite here.
I was going to say, I did like the Zed pick for a second, but then that forces you kind of into that all AD. You're looking as Elise and your...
I mean, it's completely countered by the Kindred still. Like all Pulsus has to do is walk into that AoE invulnerability, and then whatever.
Well, I was just gonna say it would have been good for split pushing, but then they're forced into all AD versus that Maokai, and they're gonna be in a lot of trouble. And Taeyong actually picks up that LeBlanc into Lux. That's gonna be kind of a rough early start, but once that LeBlanc gets going, should be able to do quite well. But I mean, you can dodge the skill shots quite easily. Just you jumping around.
And I mean, yeah, again, and if you're also going to be putting that early pressure by 4 into that mid lane, getting LeBlanc ahead very early on is going to be like gross, especially if she's able to start roaming around, getting that bot lane ahead as well. I mean, that's just going to translate and snowball further and further and further. So it looks like that's going to be what Viz Major is going for with this comp here. But gotta ask you, which one do you fancy going into this one?
You'd bring this up. I don't really know. I like the team comp build around the Jhin. They have the Braum. They also have the Kindred ult, like you were saying, which really negates a lot of the engage and kill immediately coming in from the Malphite as well as the Lux. So I like the protection of the Jhin. They have great initiation. You can
style jungler, especially if he's going to go with that Devourer Kindred that we've been seeing a lot recently. I mean, it is pretty gross when you get in the later parts of the game. And we've seen him, like, very, very great farming jungler there, too. I mean, he counter jungles Lee. He's going to take those big monsters, and he's going to be able to farm up that Devourer very, very quick. Would not be surprised by, like, a 20-minute Devourer, even earlier, potentially. But there's something Bosgood's going to have to be very, very careful of. And picking the Elise into that is probably a good option. I mean, a very great damage-oriented jungler early on as well. I mean, she's going to be able to trade very well back to the Kindred. But in those extended fights, 4 is definitely going to have the advantage there. But I do like Viz Major's comp as a whole. They kind of got it a little bit of everything there. I mean, once again, they're going kind of heavy damage style jungler, especially if he's going to go with that Devourer Kindred that we've been seeing a lot recently. I mean, it is pretty gross when you get in the later parts of the game. And we've seen him, like, very, very great farming jungler there, too. I mean, he counter jungles Lee. He's going to take those big monsters, and he's going to be able to farm up that Devourer very, very quick. Would not be surprised by, like, a 20-minute Devourer, even earlier, potentially. But there's something Bosgood's going to have to be very, very careful of. And picking the Elise into that is probably a good option. I mean, a very great damage-oriented jungler early on as well. I mean, she's going to be able to trade very well back to the Kindred. But in those extended fights, 4 is definitely going to have the advantage there. But I do like Viz Major's comp as a whole. They kind of got it a little bit of everything there. I mean, once again, they're going with the point-and-click CC from Panda, going to be able to lock down any one of those targets that they want. And then the Braum just front line is going to be huge, especially into something like the Morgana or the Lucian, where they're going to be blocking a lot of auto attacks and a lot of spells coming through there as well. So any projectile is going to just be shut down immediately. And taking the Braum away when you're thinking about picking the LeBlanc too is very smart, because LeBlanc also gets countered big time from Braum. I mean, just throwing up that shield is not going to allow any of those Sigils of Malice to be able to pass through there and pop any of those high priority targets behind Braum. So you're really forced as a LeBlanc to kind of go in, use your W first, follow up, and your damage output is just not going to be nearly as high when they have a Braum on their team. So, I mean, taking that away when you're kind of thinking about the LeBlanc, very smart. So I really do like Viz Major.
You like them or their team comp?
I don't know.
You like him? Yeah, it's very well thought out. I'm very curious to see how this team comp from Village of the Nerds is going to play out. I feel like it's going to take a while to scale, but like you said, I think the big thing is really going to be Bosgood's going to have to be very proactive on taking away the scuttles, taking away the marked objectives, not letting 4 get a lot of pressure this game, but that also really involves his laners winning their lane and being able to help if they catch 4 in the jungle, being pushed up enough they can come help and deter that pressure and presence of 4 in the jungle.
I mean, that is definitely something that we've always kind of known about Viz Major's team, is that they're kind of a jungle-centric style, which is very, very rare going into lots of these teams. I mean, normally you see a lot of the big carries in the bot lane or in the mid lane, something like that, but we finally see one in the jungle here. So, I mean, again, they're going to have to really focus, and I know that they tried last game Fellowship, I mean, we saw the Gragas go with the Tracker's Knife. They did go with the Sightstone. They tried to, ward up and stuff like that. But For, he still found his way into the jungle. I mean, Nidalee's got a lot of mobility. Same with Kindred. She's going to be able to hop those walls. She doesn't have to walk through all the entrances that you're potentially going to be warding up. But finally, all 5 masteries here coming out for Fellowship of the Nerds, which is going to be on the blue side. So Harablo in the top lane with that Malphite. Bosgood in the jungle with Elise. Jay Frazier in the mid lane once again with the Lux. And Baby Trogon, Chosgood in the bot lane with Lucian and Morgana.
And on the red side, we do have Viz Major. That is going to be Panda in the top lane once again on that Maokai 4 playing Kindred in the jungle. Taeyong in the mid lane playing LeBlanc, and Pulses and Devmaster J rounding out the bot lane as Jin AD carry and Braum support. Yeah, I'm excited. Last time we saw Pulses on Jin, he's had 2 really great performances coming out so far.
And I mean, in this meta, it's still a very, very good AD carry. I mean, it's still very, very strong, especially if you can get into those fights where you can allow him to kind of set up the curtain call, pop some targets. So I do like the pick overall, and it's a little more, diversity from Pulses than some people are kind of used to. I mean, even though he doesn't really necessarily like playing like the Sivir.
They will catch out 4 here, and he's very low. One more auto should do the trick, and they will catch him up. He's not even going to flash. He's not going to waste it, as they had a lot of weight catching him, but that's going to force the Q start from Jay Frazier. So we're going to have a bit of trouble in lane, but no summoners used on either side, so fairly free advantage going to that top lane. He's going to be already start with that Ruby Crystal. It's going to be really huge for Harablo.
Yeah, and I mean, just getting that start for Harablo going to be huge because Maokai into Malphite, I mean, early on, Malphite does not have the sustain that Maokai is going to have, so they're definitely going to be able to survive that one out a little bit there. But so getting that early start there, that early, and then, I mean, a couple assists passed around as well, so, I mean, that's going to be some more gold in their pocket. Already seeing around 500 gold lead. He's going to be starting in his own jungle this game, not going to opt to go for the counter jungling quite yet. So he's going to just, play it a little bit safer here as he did get caught out already early on. So recognizing that strategy might get read out a little bit, so not wanting to get collapsed on by Jay Frazier here or the Harablo, because that's definitely something they're going to be looking out for going into this game. And it looks like Kindred already kind of working towards a Scuttle Crab and maybe working our way across the river here. Going to maybe try and take this away from Bosgood, or at least find him and fight him in his own jungle here. But Bosgood did not start the Gromp. And 4, he looks like he's looking for a Tilly.
They're going to go in for the level 1. He has that red buff, so he's going to be slowing as well as dealing that true damage bleed. So going to force him off his blue and take it pretty much for free. That's going to be very scary there for him. And once again, going to force him off his buff. That might be another 3 buff start here for 4, but he's going to be in a lot of trouble as he gets locked up by the snare there, followed in by the immediate stun and the crit. Actually, I think it got exhausted there, saving Baby Trog's life, and I think that's one thing a lot of people underestimate is the amount of damage that last shot from Jin does, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a flash auto come out from Pulses if he gets him low once again.
Pot's healing, and we're going to see just Chosgood doing what he can to try and harass Pulses to try and even up the odds here in the lane. These 2 guys just going to be slapping themselves. Grasp going to be doing enough sustain for either one of them here. But it looks like Panda already taking a small advantage here very early on. But, I mean, it is still very early on, so it's not going to probably translate into too much quite yet. If that keeps up, though, then I think that's a little cause for worry there. But Devmaster just going to do what he can to try and chunk them out here. But we also got a note here that Bosgood, he did get both of his buffs. He did get the blue buff, and he did get the red buff, so it's not going to be a 3 buff again.
Did he get his own blue?
He started blue. He started blue. He didn't go Gromp.
Oh.
Yeah. So he wanted to make sure that he got that one. He wanted to make sure that there wasn't going to be the opportunity for 4 to take that. So he did take his blue buff, got his red buff, so he's at least got that going for him here. Going to try and kind of read 4 a little bit here at least. So going to have that going for him. And he still going to have a back here for the Elise already too. So it's going to help out her early jungle clear, even though, sure, she did get forced out of her own jungle. She had to burn flash. But, I mean, just getting that item early on there is going to help out a little bit. Bosgood getting tagged here by the passive from Devmaster J. Going to force him off the lane a little bit. Doing a great job of zoning is Viz Major right now. So the lanes kind of swapped around a little bit. Last game we saw Pulses having a little bit of trouble there against this Lucian lane bully, but it seems like the tables have turned a little bit here as Devmaster and Pulses are definitely taking it to him, accumulating a 7 CS or 8 CS lead now.
Well, and they have to play so much on the back foot. They burned so many summoners on that one catch when they went out there, and they will follow up with the snare, but gonna block that. Puts a black shield on himself, actually, and Baby Chalk in a lot of trouble with the reload. Is going to save his keister, but yeah, should have thrown the black shield onto Baby Chalk there to stop the stun from going through, but once again, forced out of lane, and this is just how strong Jin is in that early game. You find one good optimal trade with the snare and the stun, and you just push them out of lane.
And I mean, we also do see Baby Chalk, he is going Cull as well as the Doran's Blade, which has become kind of a norm lately, but it's still going to set him behind a little bit here. Lucian, normally a lane bully, you want to get that early pressure in the lane. Cull's going to delay that a little bit, but I mean, even though you do have those stats on your side, you're still getting forced out by this Jin. I mean, even though Jin just has the Doran's Blade, they're still able to put down the pressure again and again and again.
Oh, Bosgood is here in the bot lane, just returning, so we're going to maybe see if we can turn this into something before is here.
Wow.
Oh, the snare does land. They're going to try and follow up, but Bosgood, he already turned away, though. There is flash and heal available for Pulses, so he's not in any immediate danger. He's just going to walk out of there. And I'm very surprised how this trading is going in the top lane. The Spectre's Cowl is finished for Harablo, though, but that early start really not doing much for him as he's already fallen behind in the CS.
Yeah, I mean, just the matchup. I mean, Panda's going to have the range on him with the saplings. He's going to just get the innate sustain from just his passive. And the grasp, so far, it looks like Panda's just gotten a lot more procs of it. It has been changed slightly a little bit there. So, I mean, still, I feel even though they have changed it a little bit, it's still a very, very strong keystone. Dare I say, a little broken.
Dare I say.
Dare I say. But looks like we might get the catch.
We're going to see a proactive play, but Bosky going to go down immediately. They will catch out 4, though. Both TP's going to be used as Panda comes in from the backline, but he's going to be in trouble. He is forced to flash out of there to the level 6 Malphite. He will get the double knockup. They are going to follow through with the final laser. What a spark. They will catch out Panda. That's going to be another kill follow through. Are they going to be able to chase down Taeyong? Should be able to get away quickly. And that level advantage, that first blood really coming through there in the top lane. The level discrepancy going to make a huge difference. And they do land at the double knockup. Going to follow up that kill. So great picks there and collapses by Fellowship of the Nerds. And that's what we were saying. They need those winning lanes to really push out, so if 4 does invade, they can come back and help their jungler, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, kind of playing 4-2's aggressive style here to his own demise a little bit, kind of abusing it as they probably should have been in the first game, but really kind of taking the proactive steps themselves now, making the opportunities, which is kind of what Viz Major did last time. So absolutely great play from them, recognizing that and putting 4-2 farther and farther behind. 0-2-0. This is probably the worst start that we've ever seen him have in a game of SKL, and he's still going to be going for that Devourer. So the fact that he's put us like as behind as he is, it's going to be tough for him to kind of get back in here when he finishes up that Devourer, because he's going to be like so weak coming into this. But getting the 2 kills on a Baby Chalk are huge. It's going to help his lane so much more. And I mean, Pulse is still probably going to be taking it to him a little bit if they're able to get beneficial trades. But Baby Chalk at least going to be able to hurt him back a little bit.
Yeah, a little behind in the itemization. Was forced to grab that call and just kind of try and farm it out to that BF sword. So, like you said, is going to be able to take it to him for a little bit. But once he gets B, he should be able to start pulling out those items, getting himself a little further ahead. That's the nice thing about having that Lucian into Jin matchup is if you're fairly close in items, Lucian can usually win the 1v1 as you have that consistent attack going off. You get the double autos using your abilities, being able to spam that out once you have a little bit of CDR and that huge burst coming out. Should be able to take it to Pulses before he gets those 4 autos off and his abilities.
Yeah, because Lucian's going to want those short trades where he just dashes in, double auto, Q, double auto, and then he's out.
And once again, another invade here coming up from 4. He will grab that red buff away from Bosgood, and he's just getting bullied in his own jungle, which is really unfortunate. Unfortunately, can't really pull it out.
Yeah, and I mean, we're also going to see here, I mean, the early lead for the LeBlanc as well, 1-0-0, is going to be very, very nice. She's going to be working towards that Abyssal Scepter. Once she's going to have that, she's going to be able to do a decent amount of damage, but it looks like they're going to be matching that item for item here in the mid lane. Going for the Abyssal Scepter herself is going to be the Lux. So, going with that as well, I mean, those lanes pretty even across the board, and I feel like it's going to stay that way for the most part. Taeyong, very mechanical.
Oh, does get out caught out by the snare here. They are going to use the ulti. They're going to back off immediately as Deadmaster J going to go in, but he's not level 6. He could keep following that up as the calling is. Oh, calling's not available, but they should have been able to follow that up. The flash is gone out. They don't have the Glacial Fissure to deter any kind of chase, and they will pop Curtain Call as Taeyong comes down there. That should be a dead Baby Chalk as they do go in. The last hit comes through. They will snare him up. Are they going to follow up with another snare from Jin? They will not go through, but that'll be an easy kill for the mid laner.
like I was saying there, I mean, if you get the LeBlanc ahead a little bit early there, she's going to start roaming. She's going to start snowballing that bot lane. I mean, call me a prophet. I mean, I might be the best analyst in the world, but I don't want to take credit for that. I'm just calling it how I see it. But they are going to be getting themselves an early dragon here. 4 is going to very much appreciate that now that he actually does have the Devour finish. That is going to be some nice stacks going towards that. Going to get himself a little bit back into this one, as he did get behind a little bit early on. But, I mean, if they can keep excelling at those dragons, that is going to be great. So, yeah, getting like a fully stacked Kindred is pretty disgusting, honestly. When Kindred first came out, I thought that was like just a super fun build, just going full attack speed Kindred, going like that, and then played the Ruin King, and then whatever else you wanted, Wit's End, stuff like that. I didn't play it when Ginzu's was so broken, but I think that was, well, whatever. Would have been fun.
When when Ginsu's was broken, it's still a stupid item.
Still item.
No, not as strong necessarily. But.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, Devourer Kindred was a lot of fun when she first came out because I mean she was very, very oppressive at that point. So I mean, going back to that now that Warrior isn't the favored whatever the build or whatever. I mean, I really like Devourer in the jungle, even though some of the junglers that abuse it, like Yi and Shyvana and stuff like that, yeah, they're just not the most optimal ones to kind of play because they're really going to be diving the backline. Devourer is going to make them very, very squishy, but if you get an 80 carry type jungler that's going to be able to use that item proficiently, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, well, you're kind of forced into a tank build if you go for it. The flare pop, and he will actually get cut out there. The calling going to go out on Deathmaster Jin. The flash ulti is going to be used down to lock them down. He used the Glacial Fissure to keep Bosgood, but that's not going to save his 80 carry as he goes down, and they'll pick up another kill as Bosgood comes through, and maybe a little overconfidence there by Pulses flashing the Mastery and getting kicked in the ass for it as they immediately CC him, lock him down, and pick up 2 kills in that bot lane.
Yeah, and I mean, as we see the top lane, Panda, he's just kind of hanging out there. He's just accumulating a further and further lead. So able to really, even though, sure, he does have the teleport, doesn't want to answer that in the bot lane. I mean, he's going to just keep snowballing this lead for himself. They're going to try and out-tank this Malphite at least here. But, I mean, still, they got to worry about 4. He's kind of going for the invades yet again here. Yeah, and it looks like they're going to try and pick up a Rift Herald, get even more stacks onto 4 here. Going to really be working on that Devourer. As I was saying there, like, he is a very, like, even though he does put a lot of pressure on the map, he's still, like, a heavy farming jungler. And we can see that even the CS discrepancy between him and Bosgood there, 42 to 57, even though he's 2 kills down, or, like, he died twice there. But, ooh, Taeyong gonna just try and put the hurt back onto him, forcing out the shield there, but the Abyssal Scepter that he's working on, they got the components, that's gonna be able to, you know, survive through that at least.
And like you were saying though, he is very proficient at farming. It's just because he has just such an effective route of when he does his farming in the jungle. He goes to lanes, he immediately proactive. All right, can I go invade? Tries to, you know, dip into the enemy jungler's jungle just to see if there's anything for him to take, and he just continually goes and tries to pick up as much CS wherever he can in his own jungle, in the other jungle. So picking it up when he can, definitely what he's got to do. So keep putting pressure on the map like that, pull himself back even. He is up in experience though, so that's definitely going for him, and he's got quite a few stacks. Like you said, picking up that dragon, picking up that Rift Herald. So that's already about 7 to 8 stacks. He's been very good at picking up these Scuttle Crabs too. As long as he keeps getting that going, he should be able to do better.
Absolutely, and we do see in the bot lane, Baby Chog has kind of come up, and they've done a little bit of a lane swap now, wanting to put Baby Chog in, push down this tower in the top side now, as he's going to be able to push it a lot faster than this Malphite is. So getting that going for them here, but Devmaster and Kindred have kind of come up here, and they're going to try and answer back to this Bosgood though.
He's going to run in there. He does get the snare onto 4-2 as the stun goes through. He should be able to use his ulti, but Panda's going to go and lock him up, and they will secure that kill before he's even going to need to use that ulti to keep himself alive. Taeyong's going to look for another pick, being very smart, pinging those side brushes so that he is kind of forcing Jay Frazier into having no vision. The snares do go through. Is he going to be able to land his? He's going to heal and flash. Going to try and put down as much damage onto Taeyong. If he lands a snare, it should be a kill with that final spark, but not going to commit to it as Harablo comes up from the bot lane. Continuing going to go, but that snare going to go down. The lane swap so far definitely not benefiting Fellowship of the Nerds, as that kill going on to, well, just kind of getting caught out, I guess. Not beneficial for them, but maybe not having the correct vision.
Yeah, but it seems like Viz Major kind of called it at least a little bit, recognizing that Harablo wasn't going to have any pressure on the turret at all as long as Panda still had that lead that he had accumulated in the top lane. So they threw him in the bot side, they called it, and then they threw 4 in the top lane there. They put down some defensive wards so they could spot out Bosgood if he was going to send up support, because it looked like they were going to try and set up a dive here. So Devmaster and 4 rotated up towards the top side, able to pick out Bosgood there and get that for them. And so getting that kill onto the Devourer Kindred is going to be huge. Getting themselves some pink wards here. As you can look, there's just a lot more vision here so far for, or vision potential at least, for the squad of Vismajor, as we see the double pink wards. And I mean, they have the 2 blue trinkets as well, so they're just going for like kind of immediate spotting out. They're not going for any long-term vision here, but they are going to call the lane swap. They're going to throw Pulsus and Devmaster J into that top side of the map, and they're going to try and force that out.
Yeah, definitely pulls that AD carry back up there. Not really much you could do against Harablo. As soon as he engages on him, it would put him in a very bad spot. Like you said, kind of an immobile AD carry. But Bosgood's going to come up from the top. He does land the stun onto Devmaster J as they use the calling very low. They're going to back up as the TP comes through, but Bosgood gets caught up, or Chosgood, sorry, gets caught underneath the turret. He's going to flash snare, catches Baby Chog. The curtain call is going to come through. It's going to be a double kill for Panda. One more shot should get the slow onto Bosgood, but he's going to walk away. So a little bit of an overcommitment there, and they do get locked up. So it's going to be a 2-for-0 trade for Vismajor. Definitely backfiring on Fellowship of the Nerds. Very good TP by Panda, and picks himself up 2 free kills.
Yeah, and that is going to be huge. I mean, the fact that Chosgood got a little bit overextended there under the tower, ended up getting snared up and then taking just a ton of damage, following up with the Glacial Fissure. Oh, Pulsus, though, is going to go down very, very fast. A great catch there from Bosgood, followed up by Jay Frazier. Overextending their Pulsus a little bit there. He's going to toss that nice advantage in the wave that they had is going to be great. So, going to be getting another dragon here for 4. Going to be stacking that up. He's finally sated. So that is going to be like a huge power spike for Vismajor there, as he's going to back now, going to try and pick himself up some more items. But they are going to continue to push out this top wave.
Gonna try and jump it up, but yeah, Pulse is not going to be able to react. A flash snare immediately followed up by another snare, but he was killed by the snare. Not going to be going anywhere. Like you said, a little bit of an overcommitment, but this should be able to let Fellowship of the Nerds put a little pressure on the map, pick up some objectives, maybe go for this mid turret, as LeBlanc shouldn't be able to commit too hard to these guys. With that Black Shield, should negate some of this CC. Doesn't really have the greatest wave clear. Has to commit all of her abilities to really get that going. But they are going to go on to Jay Frazier here. The Black Shield is going to go up with a lot of damage coming out from 4. And him and Jin will take down Jay Frazier. It's going to be another kill for 4 as he has that sated at 17 minutes.
Yeah, so like I was calling there, 20 minutes or earlier for him. I mean, they really focused on the farm here for normally he wants to get the pressure out, stuff like that, counter jungle, yeah, but they were able to actually get the dragons, which they didn't get last time at all, and they were focusing on the Rift Herald as well, which nobody really focused on at all last game. So getting that for themselves is going to be great. And yeah, I mean, now that they are going to be working towards, it looks like a static Shiv here for 4. I mean, getting that wave clear on their side as well, because right now they don't have the best wave clear. Really, all they have is the Jin bouncing grenade, and that's about it. I mean, if LeBlanc uses a combo, something like that. So getting a little bit more wave clear on this side is going to be huge, because if there's any kind of loss of a team fight or anything like that, they're going to need it to kind of push against this crew here that Fellowship of the Nerds is kind of spotted out here. But it looks like they're going to try and collapse Harabla, looking for the pick here.
Yeah, he does go in. He catches out Pulses with that ulti, and he should be able to lock him up, but the Kindred ult is going to save him as they're going to continue to fight, and that's a great turn of events there. Chog's going to lock him down with the ulti. The final spark going through, going to pick up a kill as 4 is by himself here. They have 4 people against him as the 2 teammates got dropped. Taeyong going to try and pick up some kills. Going to go in. The heal not going to quite be enough as they do land the binding as well. Bosgood going to go after 4 as they're trying to hope to catch Taeyong. The miss binding going to be the death of Chosgood here, as he is going to continually put damage on the snare as he dodges out. Can he get the bite here? Will secure that kill for himself, and in the end is going to be a 3-for-2 for the side of Fellowship of the Nerds. The TP going bot lane, his Panda wasn't even there.
But the entire time, Panda was just on the bot side, pushing that wave in constantly. As we can see, he's getting himself a 40 CS advantage over his lane opponent there. Parablo, even though, yes, the Malphite doesn't necessarily need items or gold or anything to be completely useful. I mean, as soon as he hits level 6, that's basically what you want him for, right? I mean, still getting the Maokai this tanky, which we saw last game, came up huge. I mean, once you got the Sunfire Cape, they built a Thorn Mail, and then they built some MR after that point. Is really able to shut down Baby Trog at that point, not being able to kill that Maokai, while the Maokai is the one who's just going to be locking him up and turning around those fights. It's going to be huge. So, I mean, now that this LeBlanc is so big, she's 4-1, she's got the Abyssal Scepter, she's got the needlessly large rod, it looks like she's working towards that Luden's Echo. I mean, that's something you have to be very, very worried about because, again, they don't have a lot of carries on the side of Fellowship of the Nerds. I mean, again, they have Jay Frazier, they have Baby Chalk. Bosgood, yes, he did build the Rudic Echo, so he's going to have some damage behind him there, but I'm not going to suspect that he's going to keep building towards that damage. So, I mean, if Taeyong can solo out one of those carries, and then the rest of the team can follow up, Four and Pulsus are going to be able to just burst out the other one. So, I mean, at this point, the right people have the right amount of gold on them. They didn't give it up to the wrong carries, anything like that.
Exactly, and like you were saying, here he goes. He's going to catch out Bosgood. He is going to get hit by that snare, but before picking up that kill, the bouncing grenade going to be thrown onto Baby Chalk, who's going to pull it into the rest of his team. They're going to look for the invade, but they still have all their engaged tools available, but still pick up a kill there as Bosgood going through that damage, like you said, but does not have those tanky stats and gets immediately annihilated by Taeyong.
And Panda the entire time was pushing in a separate lane, so I feel like this is going to be a common thing we're going to see. They're going to get a pick, and then they're going to keep Panda in the side lane. Even though he does have teleport, he's going to be there just in case they need him, but they are going to be forcing them out of the Baron area.
Looks like the curtain call going to be used for the engage here. Going to throw the first shot onto Chaw's good. His Baby Chaw going to try and run out of range there, not getting hit by the crit. And he's going to try and turn around some damage, but he is definitely dead as Taeyong's going to go in there. You see the chase might last a while. Going to call, does get taken out by that sigil. And they're just going to back away again, and that's another free kill picked up by Viz Major, and they're starting to play a little smarter here.
I mean, for Fellowship, to follow up to that Baron area, I mean, that was pretty bold to think that they were actually going to attempt the Baron at exactly 20 minutes. Because, I mean, they're not quite tanky yet. But they are, now that they do have the lead there, they're going to bait it out again. We do see the teleport coming in here.
And they're going to come in as they try and catch out Four. He is snared into the Baron damage there, but he's going to knock away Jay Frazier, who's going to get caught out by the long-range Pulse snare. Going to throw his E down to try and deter that. The snare going through, but being blocked by Banshee's Veil. But they do deter the Baron push there. They force the ulti out of the Kindred there. Lamb's Respite not going to be available, so they might have to back off here. Get those health bars back as Baby Trog making his way there. They might try and just turn it for themselves. No, that would be a little ridiculous. I don't think they have the itemization for that.
They don't have the right carries, and I mean, they don't have it kind of built up around them yet. I mean, right now, the Lucian, he's only got the Essence Reaver and the Static Shiv. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of sustain for himself there, and the rest of the carries, they're still pretty squishy. I mean, they would need Harablo there, healthy, to be able to do that. They would also need Bosgood to be a little bit beefier himself. But they are going to, take up that mid tower for themselves. So getting that in their favor is going to be great. Looks like Dragon's going to be up in around 10 seconds here. So they're going to, set up around that, get themselves some vision, get some good positioning on it. So at least if they're going to take a fight, they at least are fighting on their kind of where they set it up, right? But we are going to see it started up here.
Bosgood does get killed by the Twisted Advance. They're going to be immediately followed up by the Snare by Jin, and they're going to lock down Harablo. Oh, they won't pop that as he tries to go up. Will use a repel, but it's not going to be enough as Four is going to continually chase, and he's going to go on to Chosgood as the curtain call is going to come out. Is he going to be able to fill the kill onto Harablo? Will pick it up with that last shot. And that's going to be 3 kills picked up by Viz Major. Much more almost demanding these team fights. They just keep picking it after it. And like I was saying, Chain CC coming up from Fellowship of the Nerds. That long range snare follow up by Pulsus is just so free. They just continually chain the CC for themselves, picking up these kills one by one.
It's kind of similar idea that some people see when they have the the Morgana and Jin bot lanes, the double snare. They're at least pairing that up with Panda very, very well. Panda's able to kind of get the Twisted Advance off, and they're able to follow that up with the long range snare that Pulsus is throwing out there, no matter kind of where he is. And then Four, he's the one who's usually kind of more or less frontlining, just because he likes to play it that aggressive. And then, I mean, he follows it up with the amount of damage that he has. And with the front line of Pulsus right now, Panda, then they don't really kind of need to worry, because right now he's very, very far ahead. He's got 2-1-5 score line, and he's got a lot of CS. He's got the Banshee's Veil, he's got the Sunfire, he's working toward more MR, because right now that's his biggest threat. I mean, I don't think he's overly worried about Baby Trog at this point, because right now that's probably the first person they're going to be targeting, and then after that they're going to be following it up with the rest of the carries here, because right now Baby Trog is the one who is the most ahead. He's the biggest threat to them, at least. Because if he kind of gets like 1v1 against Pulsus, then that's going to be a bad situation. But we are going to see them just grouping up around here, going to be pushing out the mid lane, going to get themselves more pressure around the Baron area, going to clear up some vision for themselves as well. Four is going to be picking up that red buff. Going to be just trying to clear out some of the wards that Fellowship has been setting up here, but Fellowship's finally upgraded to the 2 blue trinkets as well,
they will catch out Pulsus here, and they will throw the full burst. He's going to be forced to heal there, but he will stay alive thanks to that summoner spell and a little help from his teammates.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very scary situation to be in, his pulses, realizing you're completely snared and getting full comboed by the Lux there. So that's going to at least force them out of that situation where they were kind of threatening the Baron at least. And that's going to give Fellowship of the Nerds an opportunity to counter push here in the mid lane. Going to be catching out Panda there and snaring him, stunning him, going to be locking them up. But not going to be able to actually pick up the tower for themselves, as not quite enough of the team is here to follow up there. But they are going to be hoping maybe to rotate onto this to Harablo here, who is just prepping the waves.
Well, here comes Panda. He's going to lock down Jay Frazier. He's going to get hit. Immediate curtain call. Going to follow up. He's going to pop the ulti, but he's going to be saved by Lamstra's spite as they keep going in here. All the shots have been fired out by Curtain's call, and they keep their teammates alive. Harablo one more. Gets the ulti, popping the stun as well, and Bosgood in a very bad spot. That's a double kill for Panda. Chodgood. That black shield will only last for so long. That's a triple kill picked up there for Panda, and they just steamroll through that team fight. That is an ace and probably Baron.
Yeah, I mean, that is going to be that's going to be great for them. I mean, they need the waves to be able to push. And right now with their comp, they don't really have a lot of like wave clear or siege or anything like that. They do have the double 80 carry, which is great for them, but beyond that, they don't have too much else. So getting that Baron buff is going to be great. So Fellowship of the Nerds, they just got to stop picking these. Like, they wanted the dragon, yes, they set up for it as best they could, and then they rotated, like, that was earlier. They lost the fight there, didn't work out for them. Again, here, they kind of grouped up around that blue buff there, tried to take a fight against Harablo, or Panda, and then Panda just re-engages on them, like, realizing that he's super, super tanky at this point, not having to worry. And now we see Panda, he's picked up a ZZ Raw portal for himself, so we're going to see them really be working on focusing on getting the side lanes pushed, creating pressure in the other sides of the lane, because we do see Panda, he's more or less been sitting in those side lanes, pushing them out by himself right now. So getting that ZZ Raw portal is going to create even more pressure and even faster push here for this Maokai. Because Maokai, not normally the one that you're going to be having in the split push kind of comp, or in the situation at least. So getting that ZZ Raw portal pushing for him is going to be great. He's got a huge wave behind him now. They're going to have to at least send somebody to answer that, whether it be Harablo or it's going to be Baby Chalk. But it's going to create a big opportunity with this Baron buff for the rest of his major to be able to push in the mid lane. But he's got to be careful.
Catch out for, as they're going to try and put down a bunch of damage, but that is the thing. Unbreakable just eating that culling away. They're going to try and look for a re-engage, but not sure that's the wisest. Kind of leaving their backline exposed if Harablo decides to engage, as Taeyong was looking for the flank.
Yeah, and I mean, we see a pretty big goal discrepancy between these two, and now even larger as we do see that Panda was able to actually pick up the tower with the wave in the ZZ Raw portal, and he's going to keep pushing it, and they're going to keep getting a snare on him.
Taeyong locking him down there. So much damage coming through. That's a front line just being annihilated there. It's very unfortunate, and it's just Panda's so huge at this point.
Yeah.
Follow up with Taeyong, 7-1-3, has the Abyssal Void Staff. Luden's Echo, going to be able to combo people. The Black Shield goes up, the Flash, the Snare still coming through. Panda's going to come in to secure that kill, though. That's going to be another kill into Chad's good. That's going to be a lot of their defense and their peel, and they're just going to split push on both as they get the tier 2 in the mid lane, the tier 3 in that top lane going, and they also had pressure in the bot lane. So Viz Major just applying pressure on all parts of the map here.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to keep going. Baby Chalk, though, he's going to be very, very careful. Ooh, Kindred. I don't think she was able to really follow it up with the rest of it there. Taeyong looking for the pick, though, onto Jay Frazier.
Oh, it's just going to annihilate him full combo, 100-0. Thanks for coming out, Jay Frazier. Unfortunately, just getting bursted there by Taeyong. Another on the top inhibitor. That's picked up by 4. We're going to put some pressure onto the bottom one here. Harablo looking for something. Is Baby Chalk going to try and push him off as well? The Snare going to go through as he roots him in place. Are they going to be able to follow this up? They do not have the Jhin around. He's not going to be able to get there for a while, so they might look for this.
But oh, we do see 4 on the opposite side. He's just continuing to push down the Nexus turrets even. He did pick up the inhibitor too, so that's going to create even more pressure, especially with the Baron buff. Might try and go for the duel against Bosgood here, but the repel goes up and he's going to be able to use the ultimate to try and
he
get
actually stepped off of the Lancer Spite, and that's going to be the end of him as the rest of the team trying to stay on there, and he's doing so much damage. 4v1 in there. Finally gets shut down by Baby Chalk there, and after an 0-2 start, gets part of 11 kills before he goes down again.
Yeah, so exactly like you were saying there, he started off 0-2, but now he pulls himself back out of the mud here, 7-3-4, 4-2, definitely showing up once again for his team here, going with the Static Shiv, going with the Banshee's Veil, and going with the Hex Drinker, so going with like a kind of pseudo tank with this Kindred rather than going full glass cannon, which is definitely paying off as we can see here, just with the duel against Bosgood there, able to take a lot of damage before going down himself. They're able to pick up himself up another kill as well. But this Dragon going to be going over to Viz Major again. Jay Frazier not able to clean that one up, but Panda going to try and get the lockdown again.
And Jay Frazier actually getting flanked here by Taeyong as he goes for the Dragon Steel, and now they're going to keep going for it as Harablo gets locked down. He is perma CC'd, and that's going to be the flare being popped there by DevMaster J. That's going to be Harablo going down as Panda is huge, 7-1-7 on this Maokai. Just very scary at this moment.
Yeah, and I mean, just with the, like, what other item did he pick up there?
He's got a ZZ Rot Portal. He's actually building a Blade of the Rune King at the moment.
That's just really demonstrating how fed he really is on this Maokai. 228 CS, 717 is his score line, and building a Blade of the Ruin King on a Maokai. It's not something typically you see. They generally go with like the full tank. If you're really far ahead, then you just go more tank. It's not necessarily the champion you want to get the most fed, but and pop goes Baby Trog.
Pop goes the Weasel.
Pop goes the Weasel.
Yeah, unfortunately, this Taeyong so fed. Oh, Jay Frazier gonna get the catch there. Not gonna be able to secure the kill, and their base is in dire need of help here. As 4 comes into the mid lane, they will triple inhibitor them as Panda going to TP back in. He has that Blade of the Rune King, going to be looking for those auto attacks to come through. The Harablo's going to get locked down here by the snare. They immediately root. The curtain call comes out. He's just trying and slow people. Can he secure the kill onto Jay Frazier? Going to flash heal himself onto the fountain, staying alive as much as he can. Panda just kind of sitting there trolling around as Bosga trying to secure the kill onto Taeyong. He's going to go in and fully burst, but that's going to be another kill for him. As Harablo goes in, they're just going to go for a couple of kills here. Lamb's Respite coming out, and they're going to tower dive, or the fountain dive, sorry, and Panda's staying alive somehow. He gets out of there, and they're going to end the game before Jay Frazier picks up that kill. So that's going to be another kill. A 2-0 coming out this week for Viz Major. They finally have that full roster together once again, and they're looking quite strong.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was a very strong showing from Viz Major there, especially in Game 2 there. Game 1, definitely a lot closer, neck and neck, kind of on a knife's point in that mid-game point, and then after that Baron was picked up by Viz Major, then it kind of started snowballing a little out of control there. But we do see, again, another clean 2-0. 4-2, playing very, very strong. Definitely a big catalyst for the team for Viz Major coming into this matchup here. Bosgood, I mean, he tried his best there. They played the early game a little bit better, which was good to see. I mean, taking advantage of the aggression from 4, really able to try and turn that one around. Smart adaptation. I mean, it's tough to do that mid-series. I mean, when you lost a kind of tight game there, and then able to adapt. Strong showing from Fellowship of the Nerds. I definitely think that this wasn't, their worst game that we've seen them play. I mean, there has been some in the earlier seasons, like last split there, where they did have a tough time early on, but then they kind of picked it up together. Baby Trog, though, very strong game. I mean, definitely showing that he is one of the main carries for this team here. Jay Frazier with the Lux also having some great combos there. So, I mean, all in all, I feel like it was a great match for both teams.
Yeah, very great series. Just maybe looking for team fights when they were behind and just kind of bashing their heads against the wall, just trying to keep forcing team fights and just not really working out for them. But take this one, learn from your mistakes, move forward. They still have 1 week. They only have 1 week left. Sorry.
Yeah.
Left to try and solidify themselves in that top 4 spot.
No, we have 2 more weeks after this.
This is week 6?
This is week 6, yeah. We go the full 8 weeks. So, still got a little while before we're going to be finishing up the season.
But week 8 is only for those makeup games for Lunatic Peace. So, next week's the actual last week of regular season. So, this is their last. So, these last 2 weeks are the only ones they have to solidify their spot in the top 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I mean, that's pretty scary thought, knowing that it's kind of do or die time, right? Like before, you thought, oh yeah, we got the rest of the season to kind of make up for any of these losses early on. But yeah, we're approaching the end here, where we're going to be kind of narrowing down the top teams going into the finals that are going to be showing up here. But yeah, I think all in all, there's not really much else to talk about as far as this series go. I mean, strong showing from Viz Major, good fight from Fellowship of the Nerds. All in all, great series.
Yeah, great series, and tomorrow should be another one as we have Malicious Intent versus Lunatic Peace starting at 7. Make sure you guys come check that out. I believe it'll be me and the old Big Booty Bodie kicking here on the desk with you guys. We also have an ARAM tournament coming up this Saturday. Make sure you guys sign up. Get yourself some RP. Get yourself some cash if you can pull out the win in that ARAM tournament. I know we'll be playing ARAM. That was the most awkward way I think I've ever said ARAM. But come try and take on the admins in that old ARAM tournament, because what do you got to lose? Mm-hmm. Maybe $5, but
yeah,
I'll be looking to take that.
But I mean, there's so much more to gain out of it. I mean, a lot of street cred.
Yeah, just yeah. Pop the collars. But we also have our SKL Beer Night in Saskatoon here at the Hosen Hydrant. That'll be on May 7th. Check out the website. We have an event page on Facebook. Check that out. Let us know if you're coming. If you need a ticket, I believe you can purchase one through Eventbrite or contact one of the admins if you guys need tickets for that.
Yeah.
Definitely come ask.
Absolutely. Basically, any of that information, if you guys did miss any of it or you needed any of it repeated, you can find it all on our Facebook page. So we do have a lot of social media, so you can check us out on Facebook. We do have a Twitter page as well. Me and, Designator here, we both have our personal Twitters you can check us out on as well. We do often tweet about any kind of competitive LoL that is going on, or even SKL, stuff like that. You can also check out our website, which will bring us to our sponsors who helped us make it. We also got to give a shout out to Wide Mouth Media from Swift Current, Saskatchewan. They helped us make a lot of the content that we pump out here. Lots of the team logos that you see, lots of the overlays, our website, everything is designed by them. We can't thank them enough. But yeah, they really help us out in a pinch when we do need it. But another one of the sponsors that we got to give a shout out to is the Mana Bar. That is Saskatoon's premier esports bar that is going to be opening up tentatively late spring, early summer. No confirmed firm date on that yet. Hopefully that is going to be coming out here quick, but we're going to be pretty excited for it. But yeah, definitely got to give them a shout out as they are helping us out a lot going into the season.
Yeah, and make sure you guys check out all that stuff. It's a lot of exciting stuff. The sponsors got a lot of good stuff for you. I've been Blake Designator Xanadine. This has been Bailey Ponox Dietrich, and always a shout out to Skillos, making sure everything runs smooth. So make sure you come back tomorrow at 7 and check out Malicious Intent versus Lunatic Beast. We're out. Have a good night.